Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Featherhoof.
And I'm Carnage Panda. We're back here for week 9 of the animes.
Yes, our good old beloved animes. Which, interesting week this week.
Yeah.
Interesting week. The list is, which we were able to list this time around, is all over the place this week.
We found a weakest episode and a strongest episode. And it may be surprising.
So, but before we get into that, we're going to start with our question of the week, which was, what was your favorite anime series ever? Like, what was your all-time favorite anime series? And we got one answer from One Night's Angel, which is just Trigun. Okay. So, this week, our question of the week is... what animes subverted your expectations? Negative or positive? What anime did you think was going to be amazing and turned out not to be? Or something you thought was going to be crap and turned out to be amazing? For me, it was Land of the Lustrous, actually. Granted, it's not over yet. We still have more to go through. But when we chose it for this series, it was sort of like we were picking the 5 we were going to go through this week. And our 5th choice was up in the air, and I guess we just sort of chose it because it was just visually interesting.
Yeah, it was really visually appealing.
But it didn't, like, its description didn't do anything for it. And the trailer
we didn't really have great expectations for it, anything. We were watching all of these promotional videos, like 40 of them, and just be like, oh, we're definitely not watching that. And, we did want to watch Black Clover.
We did.
That was a mistake. But, Land of the Lustrous. Yeah.
And so far, it's, like I said, it had no expectations for it. And we talked about this before, even with just the CG animation. I was sort of at first like, I don't know. But it's so far been really good.
Yeah, it's just steadily been rising up. It started under a 7 on my anime list, which don't know how to take those ratings. But, people are seeming to enjoy it because it's probably going to be over an 8 by the end of the season, which is a really good rating.
And your choice is?
Now, my choice, last week I said that Madoka Magica was my favorite show.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know what to expect from it. I wasn't even paying attention to it at first because, like I said, I'm a writer. I was just sitting there going like this, and I had it just on in the background. And
now that shows how talented of a writer he is that he's able to write whole novels by going
yeah,
that's amazing skill.
And, I wasn't even paying attention, and then I saw like two of the girls just getting in a spat, and I was like, what's going on here? And then by the end of the episode, well, I'm not going to spoil it, but everybody knows which episode it is anyway.
I don't.
But by the end of the episode, I was like, well, what am I watching? it was just so atypical of a magical girl show that I was just completely blown away. And then it just, gets just better and better with each episode after that.
So those are our choices. Those are the animes that subverted our expectations. Granted, we both chose positive ones, but if you have any negative ones, throw them in. And we'll talk about those next week. But for now, we need to go into our top 5, which is interesting this week.
Okay, so our first pick and the worst show this week, we both agree on this.
And I'm sorry, Tristan Wolfe. I'm sorry.
This show is just getting worse with each episode now. Granted, we liked it last week.
The show
it is Kino's journey.
Yeah.
And what even happened here? It's like 5 different mini episodes, and none of them hooked us at all.
No, okay. So it's called The Land of Various Countries.
Land of Various Countries.
First part is a bandit and his bandit trainee. He's teaching him who to banditize. And it's like, first it shows them, like, it's like, it shows Shizu, Riku, and T. He's like, should we bandit them? Yeah, we should bandit them. It's like, you fool! No!
What are you thinking? They're gonna wreck us.
And then it's just like, he explains why, and it makes sense. And then it shows them later. It's like he sees Kino. It's like, should we banditize them or her? Yeah, we should totally banditize her. You fool! fool!
You can't do this. And so I just want to comment on this part, the old man, he has like the worst lazy eyes. His one eye is looking up and his other eye's looking down.
Or in one scene, and then the other scene, one's looking over there and one's down there.
It's like, what is going on with this? And they like super glamorized Kino in this shot as well.
Well, they did it for Shiza. It was like this mini episode exists just for the writer to go, my characters are awesome. Yeah. And then I had to pull up the wiki because it's like the episodes. It's like, what the fuck? I can't even remember them like the order they were in. So it was just to aggrandize the characters. Then we had the country of accruing virtue, which Kino is just talking to the former president of this country where you accrue points for doing virtuous deeds and you lose points for doing felonious deeds. To the point where he speculates that if you gather enough points, you could murder a man, but as long as your points don't go into the negative, you still are presumed innocent. And then it goes on a story about, I've accrued so many points that I have enough to kill one person, but my plight is I don't know who to kill.
What the fuck?
I don't know. It finishes with him. A woman's like, Mayor, former president, could you bless my baby? He's like, he takes a baby, and at first it's like, maybe I should kill the baby.
It's like how it's shot. It's like, oh, he's gonna kill this baby.
And then he picks up the baby, and then whispers in its ear, don't become like me.
He's like, I'm a failure at life because I never murdered anybody. Don't be like me. Don't fail it.
I mean, okay, I know it's been pointed out, it's like, this show's supposed to be about philosophical ideas, and, it's not supposed to be about action or adventure, it's supposed to be about these ideas and questions. My questions are simply, what?
Yeah, I can't. I don't need.
So then there's Country of Cooking. Kino makes a dish, and it's too spicy and knocks everyone on their ass. Called Kino's Fried Chicken. KFC.
Yeah, this is KFC.
And this country adopts it as its national dish. Then another no-names traveler comes and makes a mild version of it. Mild Kino's Fried Chicken. And then Shizu comes and it's like, we have two national dishes. Chicken. And episode ends.
Yeah, so there's an obvious drop in art quality in this episode. So
yeah, for some reason the art quality dipped really hard at the beginning of this part, and I don't know what happened.
Just like what happened there.
And then there was T's wish. Shizu, T, and Riku come to a place where they have a bunch of Buddha statues or Buddha-looking statues on the wall, and people write their wish, put it on the wall. Superstitious, cute little thing. And T makes a wish. She writes down a wish, gives it to the dude to put up there. He says, "Oh, this is the best wish of all. Oh, little girl, how could you?" And the wish is, "I hope everyone's wish comes true." And he puts it on the wall. And Riku turns to her and goes, "That was uncharacteristically nice of you. Why did you make that wish?" And she goes, "Because none of them's gonna come true anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter."
So basically, she just trolled the wish wall.
I mean, of all these episodes in this episode, it's the most has a philosophical thing to it, and it's probably the best one of the 5. But it's just sort of just like, and then it ends. That's it. And the last bit is Country of Beautiful Memories.
There's not really much to say about this one.
There's no story.
There's nothing.
Kino goes to a country that Kino's former master said was the one that she never forgot. It was her favorite country ever. Kino goes there and then leaves and can't remember anything. And Hermes is like, you went there, you had a good time, and you left. That's it. And it's like, but why can't I remember anything? Oh, it's because you signed a form saying that because the law there is that you can't, no one's allowed to know about what happens within these walls. So they drug you so that you forget when you leave.
So essentially, what happens in Las Vegas
stays in Las Vegas. Yeah.
So,
and it literally amounts to nothing. None of these mini episodes even amount to even a philosophical question. They amount to nothing. This episode amounts to nothing. And I don't know. You said last week that these were like the best stories chosen from the Kino.
Yeah, these are the
novels.
best stories that the fans voted on. And, I think, maybe the stories are the best. Maybe there's more to them.
Maybe.
That the studio just, like, chopped and copied and pasted. Except for the Country of Cooking, it said that one was original.
Yeah, it does say original next to it, yeah. And so, we're not trying to bash. That's not our purpose. We enjoy sitting down and watching these anime every week. It's just this episode didn't amount to anything.
Yeah, this is a real letdown, so that's why it's at number 5.
So, that's our opinion. Just our opinion. We're sorry, but we're moving on. Number 4 for us is Inuyashiki, actually. Again, it went from number 1 to number 4. And that is simply because
they're doing it.
We predicted this episode both last week and week 1. This is basically split into 2 halves. Last week we said the police, the SWAT team would murder the girl and her grandmother, and Hiro would lose his fucking mind. The SWAT team
part right on that. They semi-murder them.
No, they murder them, and Hiro revives them.
He revives them, and it's just so laughable because they're in there to define the great criminal, the mastermind. This guy's just a monster, and they go in and they're just like, oh, a grandmother. Da, 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 da.
And the SWAT team just murders her and her grandmother. Just on the spot. And Hiro loses his goddamn mind. He takes their bodies, flies away, settles them down, heals them, flies away. There's a cut here, we'll get back to it. And the episode ends with him going on a murder spree across all the police stations of the country. Except for one guy.
One guy.
One police officer.
This guy has to stay alive.
To watch him destroy all the other police officers for reason.
He has to tell the tale of when Hiro went berserk.
Yeah.
And won his war against the police.
And it's not over yet. He's like the policeman after Hiro murders all the police. He's like, you've won.
It's like, you've won, man. You've won. Just stop it.
And Hiro goes, not yet. And walks away. Meanwhile, what we said please don't do in the first episode, they're doing. They are trying to introduce the family redemption arc. The other half of this episode focuses on Ichiro's daughter Mari. And she begins to follow around Ichiro and Ando and finds out he's a superhero. He can fly, he heals people at hospitals. She puts 2 and 2 together and finds out, oh my god, my dad is the superhero saving people. And and as a side note, she wants to be a mangaka for reasons.
She has, I'm not going to put this as a side note. She has the dreams of being a mangaka. She wants to be that artist. Her mother is really angry at her because she has the worst grades in the history of the world. She is failing all of her classes.
Yeah, she's got a D, and the rest of them are all E's.
And so she's like, Ichiro, she can't be an artist. This is going to cost us so much. She should go to college. It's going to be free. She's not going to have to pay for that. And he's like, well, if this is her dream, she can do it. And she's like,
no. He's like, if she passes through high school, if she with good grades, we should support her in her dreams. He's being a good dad, as he always has been. And all of a sudden, it's like she develops a conscience right then and there, and she gets the feels and sort of can't take it, and sort of just says, I'm gonna get good grades then, and then storms out of the room. Yeah, so
he's completely motivated her to... The running theme of this show is do well in school.
First, if you do well in school, your parents will support you, and if you stop going to school, a robot will come and threaten to kill you.
Yes.
That's what this anime has taught us. So don't you forget it.
Yeah, so we didn't get the fight between Ichiro and Hiro yet.
It's coming. We have 3 episodes left.
Still got 3 episodes,
but they're trying really hard to at least redeem one of the family, because it focuses a lot on how Mari used to hang on her father growing up. You know, she was a daddy's girl, and she used to cry because her dad's so old, and she's like, I'm so afraid you're gonna die. You know. She was like a total daddy's girl, but then she grew up and became popular and a teenager, and oh, fuck my dad sucks.
Yeah, he's old. He's geriatric. I don't like him.
And now she's gaining a conscience after she finds out, not because she's her dad, not because she found out he's basically a fucking superhero. And now she feels bad about the way she's been treating her dad. And
so on one final thought, other than, you know, they're probably going to do a redemption arc for the son and the mother in the next 2 episodes, is that there is a subplot of a meteor.
Oh yeah, briefly mentioned subplot of meteor, big, like, what was it, 4 times bigger than the one that destroyed the dinosaurs. But don't think about that. We have Hiro murdering police officers. And
I don't know what to say about this subplot.
Yeah, well, look at the opening credits.
I mean, it's hinted in the opening where he's coming in through the atmosphere, and you know, there's all that heat and everything.
Yeah.
So the opening is predicting everything, and you know, just spoiling basically all the foreshadowings there.
Yeah, so that's why it's so low this week. It's at the same time, it's all over the place and predictable as hell. So that's they bumped it down pretty hard for us. So
yeah, what a shame. You know,
it is.
We were enjoying this a lot.
So that's, I mean, it. We can go on forever, but we can't because we have to constrain ourselves. Otherwise, episodes get way too long. So we're going to move on.
Way too long.
And go on to our next entry.
Okay, so for our next pick, the 3rd, you know, Land of the Lustrous. This is not weak. This is not mind-blowing, but this is a good episode.
It is. I mean, we differ a little bit. I find it's one of the weaker episodes. The next 3 entries are not that they're horrible entries, but if we had to categorize them, this is how we put them. Land of Lustrous, it just sort of... The other gems wake up, it's springtime now. Well, no, first, foes, it's like months later, right? Because spring's about to hit.
Yeah, foes, battle-hardened foes.
Yeah, she is not battle-hardened. She has control over her gold arms. She's cut her hair, which I thought it was stone, which is kind of weird that she cut her hair somehow.
Just go with it, man.
I guess. And she now can kick the shit out of Lunarians in one swipe.
Yeah, so she took a level in badass.
Yeah. But Sensei's been staying awake this whole time to be with her because she refuses to sleep. Because every time she falls asleep, she has nightmares of Antarcticite dying.
Yeah, poor Antarcticite. That scene will haunt my dreams.
Oh.
Eyeball flying out.
Yeah, oh my god. So, the girls wake up. The other gems start to wake up because it's now springtime. And we have the weirdest scene.
I have no idea what happened here, but...
One of the gems sort of like, I guess, splits in half to wake up one of the others because her ass is over here, her upper torso and head is over here, and her lower back is completely missing.
This is just a fuck up. There's no way to get around that.
Because they get it right in the manga, but in the anime
the manga, you know, this is just like some kind of fan service scene.
Yeah.
But you cannot contort in that way.
No. So the girls wake up, and the rest of the episode is just every gem at first being terrified of Foe's unusual form.
Yeah, she can make golden flowers with her.
Yeah, and they're like, flowers! And then the other half of it is all the girls being obsessively fascinated by Foes. So much so that Foes is terrified of them. And then Foes shows off her mad Lunarian killing powers. And then they all, fangirl over her even more. Except for Bort.
Yeah, Bort.
Oh.
At the end of the episode, she's like, giving this look. I don't think this is what she's thinking, but it's just like, this look on her face is like, I will get my revenge on you, foes.
Yeah,
it will happen.
She's like, how do you say her name again?
Phospholite.
Phospholite. As if she done her a great harm. It's like,
yeah, it's like, what are you talking about, Bort? Same team here, same team.
So it's like, I don't know what's going on. Oh yeah, and then the fun.
Yeah, so the sensei, he has like the best emotes, the best actions and everything. Phospholite at the beginning is going off to, fight this Lunarian, which she just one-shots in. Then she goes off to smash the ice flows, and there's like this remembering or whatever, of what Antarcticite said, don't leave Sensei alone. And as she's walking off, they just put a shot on the Sensei, and he's just got this look on his face of like,
I'm so lonely. So, but what makes me laugh, because he's been awake this whole time, because he's been, understandably worried about foes. I'm not gonna say her full name because I can't. Without you reminding me how to say it, I can't remember how to say it.
It's okay.
So he stayed awake this whole time. Yeah, and also because she refuses to sleep. So he's worried about her.
Too badass to sleep.
Yeah. And so finally, by the end of the episode, all the girls are awake, and he falls asleep standing up. And every time he does this, it's like his head gravitates to the first wall it can find, and it's bam.
This is top 10 anime animations.
Yes.
Just bam right into the wall.
So it's now they've gone into, I think they called it Sensei nap time.
Yeah.
And Foes goes off to see Cinnabar, even though she can't remember her because her arms are gone.
And this is just a bizarre part of the episode.
Yeah, the bizarre part of the episode, they specifically said, why don't you go get Cinnabar? And Foes goes,
I don't remember who that is.
Yeah, and then she goes to see Cinnabar, and not only does she remember her, she remembers her promise to her and everything. I'm like, what? I thought you just said you didn't remember who she was. So again,
so the author must have missed that in editing, because
so again, that's one of the things that brings it down in the rankings. It's just, like I said, one, it didn't really serve much of a purpose other than the other girls getting to know the new foes and fangirling over her, and the minor inconsistencies in the episode, like with Foes remembering and not remembering, whichever it is. So it was still a decent episode. I felt it was a little weaker than he felt it was, but hey, it was a good episode. It just didn't serve to push anything further. Well,
they've had these amazing episodes in this show where they've had like amazing choreographed fight scenes, deep philosophical questions, great character building, great world building.
Yeah.
This was not the strongest episode in those respects.
It wasn't, but it kind of gave us a little insight into Foes, and it was actually good in that regard. That's really the only thing it does push forward, is the character of Foes. And so, yeah, that's what we felt about it, and with that, we're moving on to the next entry.